Today, we're unpacking a truly incredible underdog story found in the Chinese book, How Gold is Forged. If you've ever felt like society dealt you a completely losing hand from day one, well, you're going to want to stick around. We're going to follow Kyo Hui-kun's relentless 10-year pursuit of success, and trust me, it is going to resonate deeply with you. You know, the author, Su Xiaoping, he didn't just want to write a standard biography here. He actually wanted to lay out a replicable roadmap for all of us. He challenges the reader with this beautifully simple premise. If a kid like Chao can literally forge himself into pure gold, then so can you. Greatness isn't some elite birthright you're just handed. It's forged. And this entire story serves as a fascinating real-world case study. We're going to follow this ambitious young man as he navigates a rapidly changing modern economy, literally fighting his way from the absolute bottom of the barrel all the way up to the Ivy League. It's a tale of serious grit, some incredibly harsh self-reflection, and ultimately learning how the world actually works. Section 1. Steel versus modern gold. So when this book was first conceived, a reader actually challenged the authors, arguing that the title sounded way too much like that old revolutionary novel about a selfless wartime hero, How the Steel Was Tempered. But the author's response frames our entire story perfectly. We are no longer in the era of steel. We are in the era of gold. Today's battleground is the market economy. The modern hero is someone driven by personal ambition, the pursuit of wealth, and global education. Now, both eras absolutely require immense willpower, for sure, but the forging process itself has fundamentally changed. Section 2. The Wharton's State of Mind. Let's look at Chao's starting line, because it was grueling. Armed with just a basic vocational degree, he spent his early days doing heavy, exhausting manual labor, literally shoveling coal at a brewery in Harbin, but he absolutely refused to stay there. Through sheer, stubborn force of will, he leaped to graduate school, clawed his way up into corporate management, and ultimately secured a spot at the pinnacle of global business education, the Wharton School. This was not a stroke of luck, folks. It was a highly deliberate, agonizing 10-year climb. Section 3. Forging excellence through habit. When he was facing the brutal reality of entrance exams like the GMAT and the TOEFL, Kiao anchored himself to this really profound philosophy. Raw talent is completely secondary to relentless consistency. You aren't excellent because you pull off one great marathon study session. No, you are excellent because excellence is your default setting. He knew right then that he had to build an unbreakable daily habit. To pull this off, Kiao started treating his own habits like programmable software. He broke down exactly how to rewire his internal biological clock. If he needed his brain operating at peak performance for a morning exam, he forced himself to wake up and take grueling mock tests at that exact hour, every single day. He proved that yes, the first 14 to 21 days are going to be biological torture, but by week 3, it actually becomes your natural comfort zone. Now, you might be wondering, what happens when sheer, raw effort just isn't enough to secure a win? Because Kiao soon discovered a very harsh truth. Once he stepped out of the safety of academia and into the real world, being the hardest worker in the room was no longer a guaranteed ticket to success. Section 4. Lessons from corporate failure. In his early corporate career, Kiao's sheer effort actually ended up betraying him. Get this, he poured his absolute heart into this massive pitch for the human resources department, completely blind to the fact that the actual decision-maker, the deputy VP, was the one he really needed to impress. He just ignored the unwritten rules of corporate campaigns and totally neglected vital relationship building. It was a painful, highly humiliating wake-up call for him. Working incredibly hard in the wrong direction is still, at the end of the day, a failure. Section 5. Beyond the paper diploma. So on top of corporate politics, Xiao faced this massive societal hurdle, the intense stigma and shame surrounding his vocational background. You know, he was in a society completely obsessed with elite degrees. The book uses this ugly duckling metaphor to describe his feeling of being an inferior duck trapped in a world of beautiful swans. But Xiao realized something incredibly empowering. Society actually needs ducks. When applying to these top-tier multinational firms, he absolutely refused to let a simple piece of paper paralyze him. He knew his practical grit was just as vital as anyone else's theoretical pedigree. He realized that dignity and self-worth aren't just handed to you on a silver platter. They have to be aggressively claimed. When institutional roadblocks tried to box him in based on his background, he didn't just quietly surrender to fate. No way. He understood that if the rules of the game are rigged against you, well, you have to be willing to put everything on the line to rewrite them yourself. Section 6. The ultimate self-transcendence. After surviving all these trials, Chow finally distilled what it actually means to be pure gold. And spoiler alert, it's not just about hoarding wealth or stacking up accolades. It's a philosophy he calls one center, two basic points. The center is that unrelenting drive to continuously raise your own self-achievement. But here's the catch. This cannot exist in a vacuum. It requires two key pillars: a profound, unwavering respect for the human dignity of everyone you encounter, and the genuine ability to fulfill the needs of your team and your partners. Basically, you win, but you make sure you help others win too. The story of Cao Hui's leaves us with one final, deeply challenging thought to wrap up this explainer. If you conquered the business world, but you used the violence of your success to step all over everyone else to get there, have you truly forged yourself into gold, or are you just destined to ultimately fail? True gold, real excellence, always requires humanity. So keep refining your habits, learn the actual rules of the game, and never let anyone tell you you're just a duck. Keep forging ahead.